Hey, Pretty Girl Club, have you ever had the Black community argue back and forth about whether or not you are considered light skinned? There is an obsession that they have in the unambiguous community with whether or not you're light skinned. I've seen Black men obsess over this, I've seen Black women obsess over this. And instead of focusing on Cleo Trappa's music or Kelly Rowland's music, instead of actually solving the problems with the unambiguous community, they'd rather sit around and talk about whether or not you qualify as a red bone, a yellow bone, a caramel, or a light brown person.
What is the difference between a yellow bone and a red bone?
Mm, it's more it's more of a tint. It's like the tint behind the color.
Here we go. Here we go. Celebrity Wise. LMA.
Yellow.
Aaliyah.
I wouldn't say she's either.
Did you say she light skin?
She's like
So
caramel.
All right, Lauren London.
Red.
Ice Spice.
I'm gonna go yellow with her.
Zendaya. Tori Kelly.
You talking about tanned or untanned?
Zoe Kravitz.
I'm gonna go yellow.
Alicia Keys.
I think I'm gonna go red with her.
Michael Ealy.
There's no such thing as a man red bone. Yellow
There
bone
we
in my
go.
mind.
There's no such thing
Not,
as
not,
a man.
not for me.
Yellow or red bone. Diddy.
No Diddy.
Drake.
No Diddy.
So notice how when he brought up Michael Ealy, he said there's no such thing as a male red bone. The reason he said that is because he associates red and yellow bones with sexual desirability. So that's why they never call men red or yellow bone. Has anyone ever noticed that? There's a reason why men don't call other men red bone or yellow bone, because they associate those terminologies with someone that they want to fuck. So this is proof that those two terminologies are associated with sexual desirability. And this is what I mean when I say that they place lighter skin tones on a pedestal, and this is why people fight over it. If you're policing it, it's because you pedestalize it. And usually that pedestal comes from sexual desirability. That's why he said, oh no, there's no such thing as a male red bone. There's no such thing as a male yellow bone. This lady says, I just thought they were interchangeable. Some people use the word yellow bone, some use red bone. I just use the term light skinned. Another woman says, this is the most southern topic of discussion I've ever seen on YouTube, but being from up north, I'll participate. I always thought that if someone was considered light skinned, that would be considered yellow bone, while someone who appeared brown skin tone with a finer or curly hair texture would be considered red bone. I grew understanding high yellow is a derogatory term, so I wouldn't use it to describe anyone unless I wanted to be an a-hole. So there are all these qualifications for red bone or yellow bone, and apparently if you are a red bone, you have to also have a fine curly hair texture as well. So if you have a coarse hair texture, you're not considered a red bone. So do you see how number one, the goalpost for light skin is moving. Number two, there are all these intricacies and qualifications for being light skinned, but I've never seen anybody make videos and have a whole discussion about who's dark skinned. Hey, what's the difference between milk chocolate and cocoa? Oh, if you want to be considered dark skinned, you have to have a certain hair texture. No, I've never seen anyone say that. And has anyone else noticed that whenever us light skinned people ourselves start speaking up about our experiences, suddenly it's you have to have two black parents to be considered light skinned, or they're not even light skinned, they're mixed. Remember when Danny Lay made that Yellowbone song and they were like, she's not even a Yellowbone because she's not even black at all? And then they started going in on how you must have two black parents to be considered a yellow bone. So they have all these different qualifications for what's a yellow bone. And then there's a difference between yellow bone versus red bone. And I guess for red bones, you also have to have the silky hair. So maybe red bone is supposed to be reserved for the dougla category, or kind of like the Indian, like Afro native category. So they've got all these standards for what's yellow bone and what's red bone. This tells you how high the pedestal is. And this also tells you that the black community will constantly move the goalpost for what light skinned is, because yes, they view it as a goal, being light skinned. And most people want to create light skinned or mixed race children. But then they've been going around for decades popularizing these skin tones, arguing over them, and then they're creating babies with these skin tones by divesting or becoming passport bros. This person says it is a tint behind the color. Yellow bones have more of a yellow hue, same with red bones having a red hue. But the no diddies, that is some diabolical work, gentlemen. This guy says, I'm glad bro paused at Michael Ealy. Yeah, it's because you guys associate red and yellow bones with being sexually desirable. So that's why you can't call a man a red bone or yellow bone man. Like, have you ever seen a man say, oh, yeah, that yellow bone man over there? No, of course not. Because the terms yellow bone and red bone are terms that they associate with women they want to fuck. This person says red bone is a little bit darker than yellow. Then there is high yellow, which is dang near white. This person says, hear me out. I thought yellow bone meant light skin with a golden or yellow hue. I thought red bone meant skin on the pale side, closer to raw meat. Red, like chicken bones. LOL, pale, like Ice Spice. She would be a red bone to me. This person says, I thought yellow bone is when the person is mixed with something that's not white, and red bone is when the mix is white. Then this person says, you mean tan or untanned? And that's when they were talking about Tori Kelly. Then this person says, are they describing the undertone? Warm undertone is yellow, cool undertone is red. The man on the right is clearly cool, and on the right is warm. So they care so much about light skins to the point where they're dividing up the different light skin categories by undertones. But I've never seen them give a fuck about the different undertones of dark skin. Like, oh, she's a cool tone chocolate. Oh, she's a red bone chocolate. She's a yellow bone dark skin woman. No, I've never seen them do that. Then this girl says, men don't deal in makeup or blending colors to find their shade and undertone. To make a dark brown, you must add red. To make a light nude, you must add yellow. This person says, I feel like first off, you gotta have two black parents. Tisha Campbell would be a red bone, but somebody like Claire, my wife and kids' daughter, would be yellow one. It went from you have to have two black parents to you have to be mixed with white to now you have to have a certain hair texture. So do you see all of the different hoops they're jumping through? And also, do you see how much they care? You've got women in this comment section, you've got men in this comment section, and then this actually affects light skinned people in their everyday lives because then, if you, as a light skinned person, call yourself light skinned, then suddenly people want to have an argument about whether or not you qualify and whether or not you can be handed out the light skin trophy because they view light skin as a trophy or a prize to be handed out. So you're not allowed to identify yourself. Other people in the black community have to identify you. This person says a red bone and a yellow bone are two completely different tones. Search Indian red, you will see a dark brown. Look at a brick wall. It fades from red to brown. This person says red bone is a female of Hispanic, black, and native mix. A yellow bone is Asian, black, or Hispanic mix. So if you want to be a yellow bone, you must have Asian or Hispanic and be mixed. This person says, ain't no such thing as a yellow bone. It is high yellow. Brandon got this all wrong. Red bone means you pop out red. Ice Spice is red bone. Zoe Kravitz is high yellow. And men do be those colors. We are losing recipes. This person says, I worked with someone nicknamed Big Red. She was light skinned with a red undertone and a hint of natural red in her hair, like Malcolm X did. Another guy I knew was called Strawberry for similar reasons. Yellowbone was a more yellow undertone from my understanding and has a more negative connotation now due to the history of high yellow women thinking they were better than dark skinned women. For example, paper bag tests and sororities. Anyway, what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.